How we doing? Fox back again. This is part 2 of our Revlution course by way of Alchemy. If you've came in on this one and you want to see the first part, there's a link to the playlist in the description. So yeah, we're just going to carry straight on from where we left off. In the first section we covered how you can load your sounds, choose the patterns, utilise the patterns on different presets, and also drag the patterns into Ableton. That's exactly what I'm going to do now while I talk about the different voices, if you like. So let's just load Dirty Disco. Pattern 1, we're going to drag this into Ableton. Okay, let's talk about this section now. So these buttons appear when autoplay is on. This button here, when you click on it, you're going to hear the sound that's coming out of it. When it's not selected, all it does is it selects that channel so that you get the controls in this box at the bottom. So with autoplay on, when you press on a channel, not only does it select it, it also plays the sample so you can hear the sound that's coming out of it. So 2 kicks, 2 snares, 3 toms, 3 hi-hats, 2 cymbals, and 2 perks. It's as simple as that. The MIDI select does the same thing, but it requires the MIDI note. It plays the sound when a MIDI note is triggered, or it selects the different instrument, if you like, when a MIDI note is played. So at the minute, you can see the RV drum is there for the bass drum. If I press a tom, you can see it's not changing at the bottom, so you don't have the controls for that. If we press the MIDI select, that then changed to the tom. You can see the controls flipping around. Every time you press a MIDI note, it automatically changes that central bar, if you like, to whatever note is pressed on the MIDI clip. I'll constantly keep these 2 on. Generally, if I want to select a sound, I want to be able to hear it to make sure in my head I know which one I'm adjusting or modulating or doing whatever you want to do. So yeah, easy peasy. Keep the autoplay on and the MIDI select on. So keep one of the snares. It's nice and loud. What do we have then? It's a real basic mixer section, but very intuitive, very easy to use. So you have the overall gain of each hit from nothing all the way up to plus 6 dB, I think it is. You then have pan over each individual voice, so you can pan hard right, hard left, or anywhere in between. If you ever want to reset one of these controls, all you have to do is control click or Apple click on a Mac, command, whatever it is. You then have 2 sends, the delay and the reverb. So this is how much gain is going into the send effect. So you've got the delay and the reverb. You can change between delay 1 and 2 by clicking on this bottom here, or reverb 2, or the 2 different reverbs that you've got in the send effects. They have 2 totally different characters. We'll be going over that later on. The way you access the reverbs and the delays is in this little button here. Click on the effects, go to the send effects. There are your 2 delays. There's delay 1 on top, delay 2 on the bottom, reverb 1 on the left, reverb 1 on the right. You can only have them go into one or the other. You can't have them go into both delays or both reverbs, but you're generally not going to want to do that. If you need another reverb or another delay, you can do it as an insert per channel. Again, we'll be covering this later on. So yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You've got volume, panning, delay, and reverb. This colour helps you sort of I wouldn't I like to say what it does. It's the colours that they have assigned to these sounds inside it. So red's are your kick, yellow are your snares. Believe it or not, that's how I colour code them inside my DAW. I mean, look, I've got my kicks as red and my claps and snares as yellow. It's just a fluke, really, but that's how I have always worked, so it helps me navigate around this. Your 3 toms are an orange, your 3 hi-hats are a blue, your cymbals are a green, and your perks are in a different colour orange. You can then solo or mute each channel once you've got, if you've got a sequence playing. Solo the kick if you want. Mute the hi-hat if you wanted to hear what it like with it out. So real basic controls, but believe me, you will be using them when you're programming this if you just want to mute one of the sounds or solo the kick while you're processing it but still keep the pattern going. Yeah, easy peasy. Nothing else to that section. Everything's all there for you. It's all the voices. It gives you the names at the top here. I don't know whether you can rename them or not. Don't believe you can. I should have checked that, really. No, what you don't really need to anyway. The little blue light is obviously shows you which instrument is in this box at the bottom if you're getting a bit lost. So we'll go back to the drum section. So see the little blue light under the tom. Now we're editing tom 2, tom 3. Little blue light is now under BD2, which is the kick bass drum or the kick 2. Yeah, real easy mixer section. You got the gain input, obviously. This light snare is triggered. The light will illuminate. The light at the bottom comes on when you press the button. See the little yellow light. And also the gain meter shows you at what stage the volume is. Nice and straightforward. I suppose we might as well have a look at the 2 insert effects while we're in this section. We've got plenty of time. I've only been doing this 5 minutes. So yeah, we'll go into the effects section. So the effects come in 3 different layers. You can have insert effects per layer, per voice. So if we kick on the snare, you've got the insert effects for that layer, or the sends are what we were going to look at. So let's just use that snare for now. So we've got the snare routed to delay 1 as standard. If you want to do it to 2, change it to 2. The way you activate or deactivate a send altogether is by turning it on there. So you're not going to hear nothing until the green light is clicked. It's a really basic delay. It's synced by default. If you want to unsync it again, uncheck the green button, then you can have control of the delay in milliseconds. The way you change it, the speed is by the time. Generally, you're going to want it synced to the clock, and then it goes in divisions. You again with the time knob, quarter note, eighth, triplets. Triplets and dotted are all in there. You just have to stop it exactly where you want it. You then have feedback, which continues the delay line on for a certain amount of time. Width pushes the delayed signal wider, and a filter, this is a filter after the delay, filters the delay coming out. So it's a low pass filter. High cut, low pass. So yeah, it's as simple as that. The 2 delays are exactly the same. The reverbs get a little bit more involved. We'll pull the delay send down. Again, by default, the reverb 1 is assigned. So this little slider is the output of the send. I like to have it on full. For some reason it doesn't have it all the way down. This is like your mix knob. If you were having a reverb on a send inside Ableton, you would always have the mix on full. You've got a pre-delay, which creates an amount of time before the signal reflects off the surface and comes back to you. No pre-delays, instant. You then have the size of the room. Obviously To the left is nothing at all. You're not going to hear it. To the right makes it a lot bigger. You then have a high pass filter and a low pass filter for you to help sculpt the sound. If you wanted to cut out the lows altogether. Again, control click if you want to reset them. Quite a big reverb it is. These are convolution reverbs. I mean, you've got loads to choose from. You can either scroll through them right or left with these buttons. It tells you at the bottom what they are. Or you can click where it says Studio A and choose the different one. So actually you can choose the room, and then you can choose the reverb inside the room. So the top one is your room. So we've got room, studio, sonic template, spring reverbs. Let's choose the spring BX20. And then you've got all the different algorithms if you like. You can have a 2 second, 3 second. Let's go for a 4.5 second. Change the length of the decay. Very cool. So yeah, a lot of sonic capability just inside these reverb sends. I mean, let's try the ambience. High pass is cutting out the lows. Again, you can choose it to 7 seconds. Not that you'd ever want to reverb that long. Then, if we change it to reverb 2 again, all you do is just click on the button at the bottom. These ones are slightly different. I should have really read the manual to remind myself. If I can quickly scan down to the effects. If you bear with me 1 second. Sound effects 18. 18 sound effects reverb convolution. So many different ones to choose from. They were slightly different, I believe, in the reverbs. Although it doesn't say it. Let's try one of the plates. Quite a big one, a warm plate. Exactly the same controls, pre-delay. Can increase the room size. Low pass and high pass filter to help sculpt the sound. Really straightforward. The insert effects, you don't have a reverb, but you do have a reverb on the master. Or am I wrong? I'm wrong. They should have done that. They should have allowed a reverb. It would be cool to have a reverb running over everything, but I suppose then you could just drop one on the lane inside Ableton. So yeah, the sound effects are your delays and your reverb. Dial in the amount of send by the slider. Change between delay 1 or 2 by clicking it at the bottom. Simple as that. Yeah, in the next section we'll be talking about the control you can have over the voices in regards to stamp an envelope for the sample, different filters you've got, the envelope for the pitch, envelope for the filter, and also random start positions. We will then brush on the step sequencer as well. But yeah, for now that was part 2. Yeah, drum voices. Stay tuned for the next part. Thank you.